You are listening to Welcome to the Silent Zone by Viktor Czák. Narrated by Will Stauff. Prologue. The Wasteland. It started with a whisper. Something was happening in the alleys of Headland. People mauling each other like rabid beasts. Crazed demons roaming the streets at night. Far away from danger, people shuddered. But in this world, news only lasts 15 minutes. Then rumor became reality. Whisper turned to scream, and the crazed demons stormed out of the alleys. People watched the footage, horrified. The sheer panic, the unquenchable bloodthirst and unbridled rampage, the gouged, empty orbits and the ragged stumps. The rest of the world sat back, waiting and hoping that the ocean would stop the devastation. It was the largest quarantine ever, enforced by unmanned warships and drones, since no country dared to send their soldiers to that earthly hell. No one mentioned solidarity anymore. The vibrant, sparkling cities were silenced forever. The screams faded as time passed. The wasteland devoured everything. One day the new world was standing tall, was thriving. The next it ceased to exist and was left to collapse. The handful of survivors had forgotten what life was like before the breakdown. Unfortunately, hell always has a lower pit. Something unexpected happened in the empty, wind-blown plains. Something that was unlike anything else. New beasts were born in the heart of the wasteland, and no one cared about the survivors' screams. Welcome to the Silent Zone, and good luck. Chapter 1. 7 years of misery. 1. "Everything's gonna be just fine," said the man as he readied his gun. The click echoed in the ruined, abandoned room, and he slowly pointed the Glock towards the woman. "Where's my little girl?" she asked. Her voice faltered as her mind struggled with consciousness. Her eyes were deeply blurred, her pupils pulsing. With her fingers she searched for his hand but only gripped air. "She's with Abigail." Is she all right? I'd like to see her." He glanced at her wounds and tried to swallow the lump in his throat, but it stuck in his gullet like a glob of glue. "I don't think that would be a good idea." The woman had been bitten. Her clothes were ripped at the spot where she'd been mauled, and blood spouted from the open wound. A drying puddle of blood covered the 2 wedding rings that hung from her necklace. Her muscles strained unwillingly as her body battled with the infection. She had no chance, and it was only a matter of time before she would transform. "Promise me you'll look after her." She closed her eyes. "You must promise me." The barrel shook, and he wished he could do what she asked. There were times when he would have promised without hesitation, but not anymore. "Close your eyes." "Please." She couldn't take it any longer. In her very last moment, she only wished for false hope, to be reassured about her child's safety, the child for whom she had given her life. "I'm begging you, do it for me." He bit his bone-dry lips and took a deep breath. "I'm going to take care of her. I promise," he said, as they looked at each other. She was ready. He aimed at her forehead and only hesitated for a beat before he pulled the trigger. The shot echoed in the room, then silence. Only the spicy, sour smell of gunpowder remained. Deep breath. Exhale. He turned towards the others. 4 children stood in the upstairs room of the abandoned warehouse like ghosts among the dusty, faded office furniture. They watched him with eyes wide open. Then they looked at a panting 5th child. The little girl lay by the wall at the other end of the room. Her hands strained to her chest. Her hair was shaggy and bloody, her clothes ripped in several places. She struggled to stay conscious. She moaned quietly, and her desperate limbs shook. It was the same feral that had bitten her, and she too had no chance. The man stepped away from the woman's body, and the 4 children started backing away. The little girl was close to transforming, so they didn't have much time. The infection had quickly overwhelmed the fragile.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?